I'm going to try waiting a little bit. All right. I think we're live now. A long time ago, someone mentioned that I start talking too fast, and so when the live stream starts, I'm like mid-sentence. So I'm going to try waiting a little bit longer before I start today. But I think now everyone's here because now I can start seeing some stuff happen. So let's get started. Yo, what's going on? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. It means it's time for another live stream. Today is... What day is it today? Friday. Today's Friday. Friday. We made it to the weekend, guys. Oh boy, it's been a long week. The week after I come back from a trip is always really hard because I'm ready to dive back into family life and stuff. But I also have like videos that I need to make that are somewhat time sensitive. And so like I've just been like trying to crank on videos as much as I can, but it's hard. My daughter had our last cheerleading game of the season, and then we went out to dinner to celebrate the season and stuff like that. And then there's gymnastics and rock climbing and all sorts of other stuff throughout the day that I got to take care of. Not that I got to take care of, that I can't wait to be at. But yeah, I'm still all discombobulated. I've been missing appointments and stuff like that, like crazy. So I'm just like a little behind. But maybe I can regroup over the weekend and get settled. Oh, yeah. That's kind of like the least enthusiastic Friday intro I feel like I ever had. Sorry about that, guys. Everyone listening on the podcast, hopefully you're having a better Friday or maybe Saturday morning than I'm having a Friday. My mind's in a little bit of a fog. But you know what? I had a good workout today. A little bit frustrating though, because I brought the new Insta360 camera with me, and the Insta360 did what Insta360 always does, and it gave me great hope and then a lot of disappointment. We could talk about that a little bit more. It's not maybe I'm being melodramatic, but we could talk about that a little bit more. But let's also say hi to everyone listening in the live stream in YouTube later, but not live. Welcome to you guys. I said hi to some of your dogs yesterday, and today I did get some messages from people who are podcast only listeners. So we'll say hi to those pets today. I love this segment. I'm surprised that you guys like it as well. We can keep doing it as long as you guys are interested in doing it. But I got some pet names. We'll do some cats today too. If you got a really weird pet, maybe you've got like an iguana or something. This is a running live stream. Someone's got an iguana here for sure. So if you got an iguana that listens to this, because this is the #1 running live stream to listen to on YouTube for people that have pets. If you got like an exotic animal that watches, let me know. Someone yesterday, remember we said hi to Nola yesterday? Nola's owner sent me a video of Nola listening to the live stream, and it was super, super cute. So there's that. All right. Today we got a box. Calvin Hong says, underwhelming race shoe. I think it's something we've either already seen or is a pretty unpopular shoe. My guess would be the former, like a different colorway of a shoe from this year. I think you got it figured out. The reason why I wanted to say it was an underwhelming race shoe. It is a race shoe, and it is one that I'm pretty excited about testing. It's one that you guys have been asking me to test for a long time. It's just not new. So that's the only thing. And so, there's a lot of new shoes that are floating around Instagram right now. And it's not any of those. Just so you know. But I am working on a reel for the Fast R2. I think that review will come out probably next week. I've run in it 3 times already, so I think I have plenty of information to make that review. So that'll probably be next week. The Ghost Max I might do before the Fast R2, because the Fast R2 I kind of think of as a 2024 shoe. The Ghost Max is definitely a 2023 shoe, so I kind of want to do, first thing first. Although part of me is like, I don't know if like Believe in the Run doesn't seem to have any photos of Fast R2. So maybe I could scoop them, but I don't really care about scoops and stuff like that. I'm lucky enough that my channel doesn't have to worry about that too much. Okay. Let's see who else we got here. I saw Mark is in here. Says, hey everyone, back to running again after a 2-week break. Actually have run twice since yesterday's live stream because that's just how the timing worked out. Oh, okay. So you did like yesterday after the live stream and then today in the morning. And he said, he's feeling pretty good. That's good. Terrence came back from CIM with COVID. It's doing quite the number on me. That's what happened to me last year. It's not Tracksmith's fault, but it was at the Tracksmith after party. I know this because someone that I was sitting next to and talking to for quite a while, like messaged me the next day and was like, I feel terrible. I tested positive, just so you know, since we were chatting for like half an hour. So that's what happened to me. Sorry to hear that, Terrence. That stinks. Yeah. I guess this is a good time to remind everyone that there are updated vaccines available. My wife got hers 2 days ago. I got mine right around Chicago Marathon time, so I've had it for a little bit. But that's also available too. Not to say that Terrence did or didn't get one, but just saying it's a good time to remind people. Brian Guzman says, yo, what's going on? I got to meet you at your CIM Shakeout and just ordered the Adizero SL for $48 on the Adidas site. Hope it works well. That's a great price for that shoe. I mean, it's like, that's such a confusing thing about that shoe, right? So you think like, all right, they've had the SL for a long time, and that was kind of like their budget daily trainer. And then they're like, oh, Adizero SL, they wanted to make a premium daily trainer. And then they price it just like the regular SL. I don't know. Adidas pricing, they're either incredibly smart or incredibly stupid. I'm not sure. That I don't usually use that word, but that's a quote from the movie Enemy of the State. One of my favorite movies, by the way. All right, Liam Dory says, all right, he's trying to make the live stream a work from home staple. Just don't tell my boss. I won't tell him if you don't. So welcome back, Liam. Mandy Pereira LeBlanc says, hello all. Hope everyone is doing well. Does anyone know if Berlin allows deferrals? I don't know. They may, I don't know. What's their, like, maybe if someone's, I don't know. New York just started doing pregnancy deferrals, but that seems to be a relatively new thing. But again, we're dealing with Europe. They're usually better about that maternity stuff. So I don't know, but I don't know if there's just like, yeah, I got in this year, but I just don't know if I can go this year. I don't know if there's deferrals for that reason. I'm not sure about that. Juliana says she does have a bearded dragon. Name is Ziggy. Ziggity Zoom. All right. Is it time? It's time for Hello Good Dog. Let's say it's time for Hello Good Dog. For those of you who have dogs or cats that listen to the live stream, this segment is for you. Today's animals that I'm going to be highlighting are people that messaged me about their animals because they listened to the audio only. And then now, since Julianne is here and she has an exotic pet, this actually came through to me on Strava, but I did not turn on my Strava DMs, even though I invited people to message me through Strava DMs. So I didn't turn them on, but people in the comments got me their dog's name. So Kevin Ankrum has 2 dogs, 2 pugs. I feel like if you're going to get a pug, you should get a second pug. That's a good dog bread. But Kevin's dogs are Sage and Sawyer. All right. Come here. Sage, Sawyer, come here, boys. Come on. Sage, Sawyer, good dogs. You guys are good dogs. And Joseph Lefferts has a husky. The dog's name is Kimber, a.k.a. Jody Husky Kimber Sanders. Okay, that's a long name. So we'll go with Kimber. Kimber, here, girl. I think Kimber's a girl. Kimber. Kimber, good dog. Kimber, who's a good dog? Kimber's a good dog. And then I don't know how to call a bearded dragon, but Juliana's got a bearded dragon named Ziggity Zoom. Ziggy. I'm gonna pretend I'm tapping on the glass. Not that I would ever tap on the glass of a actual lizard, but I'm gonna tap on. I don't know how else to call a lizard. Juliana, how do you interact with your bearded dragon other than picking him up? I have questions. Calvin Hong says, now this is quality content. That's so funny. Luis's dog Canelo definitely likes the whistling. And Aaron Barlow says, that whistle makes my dog Esri go crazy every time. I don't... Why is this so good? I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's just a weird, like, this is our little culture here. I love it. Okay. That was fun. Thanks, guys. Next time we'll do more live stream dogs. I know there's still a lot of people telling me their dogs on the live stream, so we'll have to do it. Andrew Scott says, by the way, Coast Threads stream is a gem. Yeah, I've missed like Twitter and the kind of voice that it allows you to have over there. It lets you be a little bit more conversational, a little bit more kind of like, I guess, hot take-ish. I don't know. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? But I haven't used Twitter in a long time. And I've been on Threads. I've been having fun there. I did post today about a Strava DM related story involving Malcolm Gladwell, which maybe is not that fun of a story, but I think it's a pretty funny story. I've been sitting on that one for a long time. The main reason being I didn't want to draw attention to it. If you guys go check it out, you'll understand. And then also I posted my first thoughts on the Insta360 Ace Pro. Remember I complained before with both the Insta360 Go and I believe one of the Insta360 One X cameras, that when you record in their slow motion modes, it cuts off your audio. The Ace Pro does the same thing. It's super annoying. And then Ethan Newberry, Ginger Runner, responded why he thinks that is. And I was just like, this makes no sense. I mean, I understand the rationale, but it's just such a poor decision. It's an unnecessary decision. Doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. So some of my frustrations over there, I like it to be things that I think are funny or fun. So, yeah. That's been. I'm glad you're over there, Andrew. Thanks. All right. Vinny B says he's 50-50 later for live versus later not live. And it's good to be here today. I'm glad to have you here today, Vinny. And Juliana reminds us that Kara Goucher has a bearded dragon too. Well, technically it's her son's bearded dragon, but I mean, she's talked about it that like she doesn't think that her son's going to take the bearded dragon to college. They live a long time apparently. And her son is my daughter's age. I think he's a year older, maybe 2. But so similar-ish ages. And that's still a long time away. But it seems like she's becoming friends with the bearded dragon. And that's also very funny. Average Runner is here. Says, OMG TGIF. I made it to the stream. Welcome. Glad to have you here. And Martha says, okay, this tech talk gives me a chance to say goodbye without regrets. I'll watch the rest later. We have an appointment. Bye. Or have a good appointment, Martha. See you later. Johnny Dodgen says, this is calling out for a compilation for dog callouts on Reels with no context to confuse folks that don't into the Run Club. Okay. I'll see if I can get Daniel to make a supercut of the dog callouts for Hello Good Dog. Maybe we'll have to start marking like what time in the hour it is. All right, it's 13:30. So it was like 13 minutes in, maybe 12 minutes in. Where's my pen? I don't know where my notebook went. Oh, it's over there. I got a piece of paper here though. Okay, today's Friday. 12 minutes. Okay. We'll start keeping a tally. After like 4 or 5 days, I'll send them like, hey, here, check these days and make a supercut. All right. Daniel Burton says, I'm excited for the box. All right, let's get to the box today. Calvin was pretty spot on. Here's another hint to what's in the box. It says, you guys might recognize it. It's different than the boxes that this brand used to use, but now they're offsetting 100% of the carbon emissions for this shipment. And it's a different kind of cardboard box. Before, I think did it just come in an orange box? Oh, and it came in a box that said the brand on it. So that's what brand this is. You guys can probably figure that out. Andrew Cho figured it out right away. It's a Nike box. That's right. But first we get to that. Let's do this. Diggity DJ says, first half marathon tomorrow. Wish me luck. Can't wait. Shooting for 1 hour 35. Awesome. Well, good luck tomorrow. You're going to have to let us know how it goes back on Monday. All right. Okay. It is a swooshy box. Let's see what's inside here. Pretty confident this one is not a fake. Although, where are my fakes? Oh man, I meant to go. I meant to go get it so I can compare the weight of my fake to my real. But I did finally pick up a pair of the Alphafly 2. I saw this one and it matches the Vaporfly 3 that I just tested a little while ago. I know I'm late to testing all these shoes, but I felt like I should test them before the end of 2023. So here it is. It is much lighter. The fake one that I bought on eBay was like 14 ounces. This is about half that weight, even with the little cardboard thing in here. But yeah, I mean, it's an Alphafly 2. Looks nice. Yeah, it'll be interesting to test this one, especially since my only other experience in this shoe is with the fake one. You know, I mean, I tried Alphafly 1. I've had multiple Alphafly 1s, but yeah. So here we go. Here's that one, and it's the same like black and like rose gold. Guys, I gotta tell you, I do really like this like kind of this is not rose gold, but it's kind of like pinky gold. I like pinky gold. I like rose gold. For a long time, all the YouTube videos on the channel were edited on a rose gold MacBook Air. And you guys know about my suitcase, which is like a pink suitcase. Thomas was making fun of me for it. But like to me, I don't really see the pink. I don't think it's my color blindness. It just looks like a different kind of gold. Maybe a little bit brassy, you know? I know brass is a very different color too, but it's just different. And it's not as like gaudy as like pure gold color can be. I just kind of like the pinky golds. They don't look pink to me. So there we go. Rainrunner says, I don't see rose gold, just regular gold. What's the name of this color? Oh, okay. It says black metallic gold grain and sail. So the white is not white, it's sail. There's black and then metallic gold grain. I thought I saw somewhere, at least maybe on the Vaporfly 3, that looks just like this one, that said something about pink in the gold. I could be mistaken. I think it looks nice. It's a good, I mean, they've always done a good job with their designs. But yeah. All right, we'll give this one a try. Jason says you could just call that gold. All right, I'm just gonna call it gold then. I feel better. I mean, I like I'm no shame on rose gold, but yeah. Andrew says, any reason why you waited to test the shoe? Consider Alphafly 3 is coming out next month. That's the main reason. I wanted to make sure that I still was able to buy an Alphafly 2 before the Alphafly 3 came out, just so I can have the vocabulary. And I mentioned this in my reel that I posted a little while ago when I got the Vaporfly 3, is that, you know, I still don't love running in Nike stuff, but it's useful for me and useful for you guys if I have that as part of my repertoire of experiences to draw from when it comes to making recommendations, comparing to what's best in class or not. So I've been basically putting it off as long as I could. And now we're like at the end of the year. And whenever there's another big marathon coming up, Alphaflies become hard to get. Vaporflies become hard to get. Everyone's like, Vaporflies are only $175. It's so cheap. And I'm like, not when it's a marathon time. Then they're $250 or sometimes $260, you know? So, you know, I was buying it now because it's overdue, and also if I wait any longer, it might be hard to get. So there we go. Yeah, Calvin Hong says it's a frame of reference for most runners. That's another really good way to put it. Calvin says, I get why you don't love running in the brand, but as a reviewer, I think it's a bit different of a circumstance than an individual consumer. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of painted myself into a corner, you know? So that's why I'm buying the shoe. I'm spending more money on Nike shoes than most people in the world are in a single year. I think I've dropped about $2,000 on Nike shoes this year, maybe more. So I'm buying them and I'm testing them. I just probably won't make review videos about them. But if you have questions, I'll still make reel. I'll make reels. Reels are easy. They're not a huge commitment. So, yeah. Mark says there's one colorway of the Vaporfly 3 that's $270. See, they're slowly creeping. I don't know if like Nike's long-term pricing strategy was to always like in off times in between marathons, cut the price so that everyone is used to seeing 175. So that way when other shoes come out at like the S-Lab Phantasm 2, that came out at 275. What else we got here? These are my racing shoes currently in this line. But you know what I mean? Like, or the Endorphin Elite or the Cloud Boom Echo 3. You know, when those shoes come out and people are like, yeah, but you can get a Vaporfly for 175. See what I'm saying? Everything seems expensive. But then, oh, well, this is the full price and I do have a marathon coming up in a month, so I guess I'll pay this $270. You still think in your mind that it's like $175, $200, you know? I don't know if that's intentionally the thing, but I think that's what's happening. And Jeremy Kale says it's fake scarcity, knowing serious runners will pay up for epicness. You can't put a price on that, you know? So, Lauren says 2,000 a year is on the lower end for Nike shoe fans. Yeah, but it's on the very high end for anti-Nike people. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking over there. I have them. They're all sitting in a pile over there. There's a pair of Alphafly 1s, Vaporfly 2s, Vaporfly 3s, a pair of fake Alphafly 2s, Invincible 3, Peg Trail 4 Gore-Tex, Peg 40 Customs. I think that's it. It's a lot of shoes. That might be more than two. I think $2,000's probably right on it. I don't know. Not that the Alphafly Fake 2 really counts, but. Oh, yeah, the Vomero. Yeah. Oh, and then I bought a pair of Zoom Streaks. I bought a couple of used pairs of Peg Turbo 2s. I think those are still down here. Oh, another pair of Epic React 2s. That was all this year. So that's, I don't know, maybe it was more than $2,000. I don't know. Oh, Cobalt Blue says, speaking of discounts, Adidas has the Adizero Adios Pro 3 for $175 in the app. That's a fantastic price. Guys, if you're thinking about getting that shoe for your race, go get it now. Just get it, because it's not going to be cheaper later. If anything, it'll be more expensive later. So, and Calvin says, you know, when we're doing the tally, don't count. Well, the used Turbo 2s were pretty cheap. So it's like less than 100 for the two of them. But yeah. Andrew Scott says Turbo 4 images are starting to leak. Yeah, I've seen that. What's the Turbo 3? The Turbo the Turbo Nature? Are they counting that as the 3? I don't. When I see the 4, I'm like, where was 3? It's like Spaceballs. Do you remember the movie Spaceballs? Growing up, everyone I knew was certain that there was this was on the age of before the internet, right? Everyone I knew that there was going to be a Spaceballs sequel to be made. And everyone had different ideas as what the name would be. And I was always convinced that the Spaceballs sequel was going to be Spaceballs 3, The Search for 2. But then I met someone like as an adult, and I think this conversation happened like less than a couple of months ago. And they were also convinced that there was supposed to be a Spaceballs sequel that never got made, but they had a completely different idea of what the title was supposed to be. What did you guys think that the Spaceballs sequel was going to be? And does anyone know why it was never made? I mean, were they just like, we're done with this, we're good? Or just like, they just couldn't get the actors or what? I don't know. Luis is still waiting for the sequel too. I know, right? Yeah, Mark Peterson said like the name was going to be goofy, like Naked Gun 2.5 or 33 1/3. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Andrew Scott says that what they're counting as Turbo 3 was the Turbo Next Nature. Ugh. Why they never called it a 3 at the time? Why didn't they just call it 3? I don't know. Why? What's the deal with calling it a 4? I don't know. Scott Hilton wants to know recovery shoes, Topa, Hoka, Kane, etc. Do they actually do anything different than just another good shoe to wear that you don't run in? Oh, like recovery walking shoes, or like recovery slides. I like the recovery slides in the summertime just because, one, It's summer and it's hot, so I don't want to be wearing a shoe. But usually slides are comfortable because then that pinky toe isn't getting crunched in by something. And the foams are just really comfy. The Hoka one is a little bit more firm. It's like Bondi firm. I'm convinced they just took the same design for the Bondi outsole, like maybe the Bondi 7 outsole, and then put a slide on top. Just like the strap on the top of the foot. But yeah, it's just comfy. Some are extra squishy. Some of them are firm and like kind of pokey. You know what my favorite recovery slide is though? As far as recovery, like the most comfortable one that I have is the Asics 3D printed one. But I think like the old school, most recovery one that I feel like is the most stimulating for your feet. And that's the idea. It's like stimulates your feet too, to increase blood flow and encourage circulation, is the Adidas Pokey ones. The kind that everyone's Asian grandma has. Everyone who's Asian, their grandma had them. The Adidas slide and with all the nubs. That is my favorite. I almost bought another pair the other day. But then I keep hoping, like, I'm doing more work with Adidas. Maybe they'll just send me a pair at some point. And I'm like, it's $30. I should just get it. Now I regret not picking it up that day. I think I was at like Dick's or something. I don't know. Oh, Mark Peterson says, well, was part of it that Rick Moranis walked away from acting to care for his kids when his wife died? Oh, that would explain a lot. I forgot about that. Wait, but was Spaceballs was before Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, though, wasn't it? Or was it afterwards? I thought it was... actually, it might have been after. I don't know. Oh, yeah, Calvin Huang. This ones I'm talking about are the Adilet shower slides. That's the one. That's the best one. Like, they reached peak technology whenever those came out in, like, the early 90s. Is that when those... I feel like that's when they came out. I've never tried the Kane ones, but I think the Matt Choi Kane collab drops today. I'm going to have to try and buy some of those. Those will be my first Canes. And Average Runner says, OMG, RIP my Adidas Pokey ones. I had them for so long. I feel like we should bring them. I'm going to bring them back. I mean, they're already back. They've never, in many ways, Big Boy has never left. They've never left. They still sell them, but I'm going to start bringing them to races and stuff because that's a good one. Nadia, hey, what's going on, Nadia? She says, Velis recovery sandals have some great slides and flips with arch support and a stable heel cup. Oh, that's interesting. I found Hoka to be too firm for me and the UFOs to be too unstable. See, I just love everything that's unstable. I don't know what's wrong with me. I like it. I like the chaos. I like it super, super squishy. I love UFOs. UFOs are my favorite. But if you are going to be doing a lot of walking around, the UFOs get fatiguing very quickly because your toes are like grabbing into them because they're trying to push off and it's just mushy. So that's the only thing. If you're going to be lounging a lot, UFOs I think are great. And then occasionally having to stand up, the UFOs are great. Like I like them at the pool. They're good because you don't really walk around too much at the pool. But just summertime, it's nice. But if I am walking, then I can't. If I'm walking a lot, the Hoka ones are pretty good. But I agree with you that they're firmer than they need to be. All right, Sleeve Singer says, Spaceballs came out in June 1987 and Honey Shrunk the Kids came out in June 1989. And there was two more. I don't know what the name of the other ones were. I thought there were two more Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You know? Lisa, Spaceballs was never expected to have a sequel. I think there's an interview where they explained that all the sequel stuff was a rumor, if I remember well. Didn't they specifically reference a sequel at the end of the movie? I thought that they did. I don't know. JJ and Sienna says, I could see Ko talking about running brand slides on here, but he's really chilling with his Gucci slides. I've never had any Gucci anything, I don't think. No, I have not had Gucci anything. Yeah. No, I don't have any Gucci sides. But that kind of reminds me. Have you guys have seen the news about Taylor Swift, right? And from a runner's perspective, you've seen like the quote, like Cities. I saw Citius Mag report on it first about how like Taylor Swift trained for her Eras tour by singing the entire set while on the treadmill, running fast during the fast songs, and then walking during the slow songs. And it would be 3 hours a day on there. And Citius called it the Eras fartlek, which I think is pretty fun. But the moment I saw that, I'm like, and what shoes was she using? What treadmill was she on? How many miles did she run? And how many pairs of shoes did she go through? Because it had to have been a lot. If you're doing 3 hours a day, 7 days a week, let's say even she's just doing 5 days a week, 15 hours on feet in a shoe, that's a lot of miles. You're going to need a new pair of shoes like every 3 weeks. You know? I know she's not running the entire time. She's running and walking, and it's a mixture of things. But even so, you're still on feet. And so I think 3 to 4 weeks, she's going to need a new shoe. Which did she wear? And so I know that I'm never going to be able to get the answer to that. And so I have already messaged. I have run it up the flagpole to our basically our running champion. I messaged Allie Feller. I was like, can you please ask Taylor Swift what shoes she wore when she was on the treadmill and how many miles she logged and how many pairs of shoes she went through? You're our only hope. And she's like, I'm on it. I have so many questions. Hold on, I gotta get my plug here. So, I mean, I'm really dying and hoping for Allie Feller to be able to interview Taylor Swift about running. No, who else is going to get that interview that has the chops to ask the running questions we actually really want to know? I don't know. Juliana says, "LOL." Yes, Allie would be the one to get to ask. Perfect. I know. I thought of her immediately. You know. Jess B says, "Now this is the content I've been looking for," and here's where the Gucci connection comes in. People were telling me she probably has custom shoes because they were saying like she has this custom fancy shoe wear made. I wasn't familiar with the designer, but she had a very specific, special, fancy shoe or designer shoe made. I don't want to say fancy. Designer shoe made for the show, for the tour. And so she said she probably had that designer design a running shoe for her. And I'm like, probably not. So, yeah, I don't know. Mark says, I don't know if she can afford new running shoes every 3 weeks. Oh, man. Yeah. Jason wants to know what gel she took. Yeah, what's the nutrition like? I'm guessing she probably didn't take gels. If she's on the treadmill doing it, she probably had water bottles, maybe snacks. I feel like maybe gummies, you know? But water bottles and gummies, I don't know. I could see it being, I would guess Scratch. I don't think she's going to be Gatorade. She's not basic. I'm basic. I love Gatorade. I mean, Scratch, Tailwind, all are great. But Gatorade, I could get it at the grocery store. The price per serving is super cheap, and it kind of gets the job. Michite says she probably had to bedazzled shoes. I don't know. I feel like she probably was serious. I probably would. And I talked about this on Threads too, but like, I feel like if she said like what shoes, I bet you it would be a rotation of shoes. So it wouldn't be the same shoe 5 days in a row. And I bet you we'd be like, oh, okay. That makes sense. Impressive. She knows what she's talking about. That's what I feel like. Jennifer Herring said if she made her own shoe, it would be called the Swiftie. How awesome would it be if she did it with like Allison Felix, and it was like the Sage. There's the Sage, There's an Allison Felix shoe and then a Swifty. That'd be amazing. I would buy that in a women's size and make it work. I'm not super familiar with it. I'm very familiar with the music because I have 2 daughters, but and that's all we ever listen to in the house. But like, it's not what I put on when I go running, but I love her as a person. She's great. And she's good to her community, and she has a good community. And I feel like if she made a shoe, if she put her name on a shoe, people would buy it, you know? Stephen C. 1984 says she watched Ed Bud to find out which running shoe is the best gig shoe. That's Can you imagine if she was like, yeah, I've been watching this British guy, Ed Bud, because we had a musical connection, so I feel like this guy knows what's up. All right, there's that spam call that comes every day again. Do you guys hear that ring? Do you guys hear the ring when it comes through, or do I just hear it? I don't know. And Kuvang says like Taylor Swift is all that Robbie's kids listen to. I feel like that's great. I don't understand why Robbie's so mad about the Taylor Swift. I don't understand why a lot of dads are mad about their kids listening to so much Taylor Swift. I think it's fine. Luis wants to know if Taylor Swift put her trending on Strava. If not, I don't believe her. I'm guessing she might have a private account. You know. And CV76 says Kofuzi is more of a Celine Dion fan. I'm not really a Celine Dion fan. I'm not that familiar with a lot of her music. You know who is a Celine Dion fan? Allie Feller's a big Celine Dion fan. She's also a Swiftie as well. But, you know. Calvin says, imagine Taylor Swift BQing. It would be impossible to get into the Boston Marathon after that. If she was like, I'm trying to BQ, and if she ran Boston, then like there would be the next year it would be like 98% women in the Boston Marathon, and none of us would get to run. It would be amazing to watch. That'd be so cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see that happening. I don't know. I feel like she's so famous, she can't do that. You know what I mean? I don't know. All right, you guys are saying, yeah, they do. You guys do hear it when the phone rings. I don't know how to disconnect that or turn that off, because I still need to have Wi-Fi on to do the live stream. I don't know. Daniel Burton says maybe it's Taylor calling. Someone wants to tell. Maybe she wants to join in on the live. Maybe. Steven C1984 says, are Taylor Swift fans old enough to qualify for Boston? Sure they are. I mean, I can think of pro. There are pro runners and retired pro runners that are Swifties, Taylor Swift fans. Kara Goucher is a big Taylor Swift fan. Emma Coburn is a big Taylor Swift fan. I'm trying to think who else I can think of off the top of my head. Those are the two that come to mind right away. Stevie76 says Nick Bear could be Taylor's bodyguard. Yeah, but then who's going to bodyguard Nick Bear? Because he's going to get swarmed too. People are going to want to run with him. Who do you think would get the bigger Forrest Gump like crowd? Let's say both of them are like, I'm going to run across the country. Right? You know, in Forrest Gump, he's got that like crowd of people that are like 200 yards behind him. Who would have the bigger following? Taylor Swift or Nick Bear? In like a running across the country. Now, keep in mind, most of those people didn't run across the entire country, is my guess from the way the movie is depicted. But it's just like one of those things where, like, you know, someone jumps in for a day and they do 30 miles. Like when I watched Man v. Miles run across Europe along the Danube, he had people joining him for like a day at a time, you know? Who do you think would have more people follow him? Nick Bear? I would probably say Nick Bear. Yeah. But some of you say Taylor, which I could totally see. Because then, can you imagine as it goes through Colorado, as Taylor Swift in this imaginary hypothetical is going through Colorado, she picks up Kara Goucher and Emma Coburn, and probably 3/4 of Boulder. You know, like I just feel like that it could gain momentum. Average Jordan says Taylor could grow the sport in a way that nobody could. Just saying, absolutely, absolutely. And Jeremy Carriel says, but Kipchoge is a Kelly Clarkson fan. That is one of my favorite facts. I made the joke on Twitter a long time ago, so I don't know if anyone saw it. Maybe it's just not that good a joke. But I always thought that like everyone should have a Kelly Clarkson answer if you get asked like, what's your favorite music as a runner? You know what I mean? Like, I do think that Kipchoge probably does love Kelly Clarkson. That makes sense to me in a couple of ways. But like, what if he's trolling us? Like, what would your trolling answer be? And I think that mine would be Andy Grammer. If you guys don't know who Andy Grammer is, you probably don't have 8-year-old children or 7-year-old kids. My younger daughter loves Andy Grammer. I'm very familiar with Andy Grammer's work, both on his own albums and when he's featured on other people's songs. So that like, that's my answer. If anyone ever asks, like, what's your favorite music to run to? Andy Grammer. When we were in Tokyo, Robbie and I were trying to find a place to do karaoke. We found a place. We didn't want to like rent a private room, which I think is the way most people do karaoke in Asia. But we found a bar that had karaoke, and we were there. And I'm looking through the songs that are in English, and I was like, oh, please let there be a whole library of Andy Grammer songs. I'll be on this thing all night. There were 0 Andy Grammer songs. So that was disappointing. Calvin says, Andy Grammer? Oh, no. Shannon says, I love Andy Grammer. It's catchy. It's fun. I do enjoy the music. I've also listened to it like 1,000 times. Shannon says, my Kelly Clarkson answer would be Coldplay. Ah, interesting. Yeah. Who else? Mark Buden says, I'm a bigger fan of Adam Spelling. I don't know Adam Spelling. Luis Becerra says, Bad Bunny. Steven C says, Michael Bublé, better answer. I think that's fun. Would you run to I mean, I feel like there are people out there that could run to Andy Grammer. I don't know about running to Michael Bublé. Terrence wants to know if there's any Beliebers in here. Anthony Allen says, the Andre 3000 new album. I don't know, guys. I'm glad that he's living his best life, but that wasn't for me. Calvin says, you know what? The generational gap can be a fine line. Cannot see any of my peers being that excited for Andy Grammer. Maybe it skips a generation because my 7-year-old daughter loves Andy Grammer. All right. I think we had a serious question up here a little bit ago. All right. There's a couple. Rashkumar Rashinji says, Kofi's a great video on being a vegetarian runner back from April 2020. Has your diet changed since then? Will you update that video by April 2024? Thanks. By the way, New Balance, the Cherry Blossom Lottery is open. Will you run with Believe in the Run? I've run it 3 years now, 2 years now. I don't know if I'll be running it again. It's a fun race though. I do really enjoy it, but I'm not sure. I don't have that on my calendar yet. My diet has not changed very much. If anything, it's just becoming more. I'm getting more tired. Not physically, just mental fatigue. Like when I travel, it's really hard because like at the airport, like you can like if you just want to grab something fast, you can get like a ham and cheese sandwich or a turkey and cheese sandwich. And if you want a salad, you can get a salad. But the best thing about being a vegetarian is that you don't ever have to eat a salad again if you don't want to. And I don't love salads. And so like that, like things like that get really frustrating. And then I just end up eating like 4 granola bars for lunch. And that's never good. So like things like that are becoming tough. And I'm becoming more open. Like if I'm traveling internationally, you know,
having whatever the local delicacies are, even if they include meat, kind of thing. So there is ways where I'm becoming like less restrictive about it. And it goes in spurts, you know. I'll eat like a bunch of like Impossible Burgers. They're still vegetarian, but like eating like fake meats, you know. And then other times I'm making lots of soups and roast veggies and stir fries, and it's great. So it's still kind of the same though. So I probably won't update. Julio Tariquez says, "Hey, huge fan. Oh, thank you." It says, "I'm running my first ever half marathon in January. I'm about 215 pounds. What shoes do you recommend? Are the Magic Speed 2 or Deviate Nitro Elite 1 a good option for under $80? I think I'd probably go, both are good. I'd probably go with the Deviate Nitro Elite 1. If you can get the Deviate Nitro Elite 2, that's a much better shoe. But yeah, the Magic Speed is more for like, I like that shoe for like 5Ks. Not necessarily half marathons. So like the Deviate Nitro Elite, I've taken that shoe out for 20-mile runs, and it's good for that. So I think that would probably be the better choice of those two. And then I think we had another actual question here. Not that I don't like the banter. No, I think that was it. Miguel's here. What's going on, Miguel? It says, was it last year that you chopped your hair right after CIM? If so, your hair grows fast. I think I got a haircut right before Boston, and it was way too short. And I still don't love the cut, and I keep meaning to go get it touched up. Sometimes when it dries, it just dries like really funny, and it kicks out. It kind of kinks out funny, and I don't like it. I got to figure out a better way to handle it. Maybe the answer is I just got to blow dry it. I don't know. CNC says, you don't win friends with salad. You don't win. It's catchy and true. Sam Miles says, do you have any advice for someone dealing with a metatarsalgia injury? I'm not familiar with that, so I don't know. I feel like bones of the foot, super strong, but when they're hurt, I feel like they're super fragile and touchy. So I would just make sure you're getting medical attention on that. Keep a close eye on it. Oh, okay. Calvin says, there's a question about half tights. Did someone ask about half tights? Is that what the question was? Let me see if I can find it. The original question. If I don't see it right away, then I will... Okay. I don't see it. But Calvin says, there's a question about half tights and which ones I recommend. Calvin recommends the Rabbit Speedsters, the Tracksmith Reggies, and on the expensive end, the Bandit Super Beams, Tracksmith Alstons, and the Nike Lava Loops. I'm not familiar with the Lava Loops or the Alstons, I don't think. I think I have the Reggie half tights. And I have whatever the Bandit half tights are. Those are really nice as well. A different material. It's almost like shimmery. I would say like mine are one of the Rabbit Speedsters are some of my favorite. To add on to that, I would say John G makes a really great half tight. There's another one that I've been wearing that I've been enjoying. I don't know. Kraft makes an okay one. It's really lightweight, but there aren't enough pockets. New Balance makes a pretty good one. Same thing. Lightweight, so it's not too hot. Not enough pockets. Adidas makes great ones. Not nearly enough pockets. Sometimes 0 pockets. Same thing with a lot of the Nike ones. At least the last time I tried Nike half tights. But yeah, those are some good ones to try. And then there's another question here. Andrew says, have you seen the Boston jacket for 2024? It's blue and red, so hopefully not as polarizing as previous years. I have not seen it, and I'm of the opinion that at this point, it should just be blue and yellow every year. If they want to differentiate them year by year, I think that it should be some sort of accent that they do on it. But the main color should just always be blue and yellow. It'd be like, what's the golf tournament that they wear the green jacket? The one that Shooter McGavin tried to steal at the end. You know that? Like if they were like, this year we're going to go with burgundy or ombre, people would be like, what? No, it's a green jacket. You know, that's how I feel about the Boston jacket. It should be blue and yellow every year. But Luis says, are you sure it's blue and yellow? The Boston jacket's blue and yellow, right? I thought it was blue and yellow. I don't know. Jordan Privet says, I've always carried a bottle of water / electrolytes during a marathon. How do you depend only on little aid station cups for hydration? I would like to ditch the bottle. I like the gels that are a bit bigger. So I've been racing a lot with Martin gels, which are bigger and not as sticky as Goose. And now I'm switching over to only using Science and Sport, just because I've been training with it really well. And then I would always switch to Martin's. And the last couple of races I did with Martin's, my stomach was wrecked for hours afterwards. And I was like, this isn't right. And so I've been running and racing with Science and Sport, and everything's it's not as like jarring. There's not the same jolt. Although the beta fuels, that gives me a big jolt. That was nice. I used those early this week and I was like, whoa, I feel it's kicking in. Took about 7 minutes from tearing open the package to feeling it in my legs, So that was fun. But those are much bigger, and so they're almost like a liquid. And so that gives you a little bit more fluid. But, I just do every couple of miles, I'll grab some Gatorade, and that gives you the electrolytes. I don't mind. I don't know. I don't have too many problems. I guess I do spill a lot of it on myself, but I don't mind, I guess. I don't know. Creative Community says, instead of half tights, favorite 2-in-1 shorts with enough pockets for a marathon amount of gels. Probably be Bandit makes the best ones. Bandit and no, I think both of them are Bandit. They make a 5-inch and a 3-inch. And the tights have side pockets on them, so you could tuck them in the I don't know if it's the 2 or the 1, but the spandexy part, they have side pockets, so I've never tried to fit a marathon's worth of gels in there, but you could fit a lot of gels in there, so those are good. And Eric Innumerable says, I bought the Science and Sport Black Friday pack you recommended. Excited to try them out. All right, cool. You have to let me know which was the worst flavor. I know which flavors I like. It's like the citrus ones. And I think for the beta fuel, I have the orange, which is pretty good. But I want to know, what are the nasty ones? Let me know. Miguel wants to know, question 1, have you tested the Nick Bare Go Gel? In part 2, did y'all connect at CIM? So I did not see Nick at all at CIM except on the course. So I went to the BPN. I keep saying BPM because I'm used to heart rate, but the BPN shakeout run, and I ran into all the BPN athletes, and all the CIM ambassadors were also there because it was a BPN and CIM official shakeout run, which I think all marathons should have an official shakeout run, although a lot of them have 5K races, and that's kind of the official shakeout. But I don't think he was there. I don't think he went. And I know Matt Chittum wanted to interview him at the expo before the race, and we couldn't make it work, or he couldn't make it work. I don't know if I was going to be invited to that or not. But anyway, we couldn't make it work. So I didn't see him at all. I mean, I think it was like he wanted to hunker down and just mentally prepare for the race. So I didn't get the chance to see him. And I've never tested the gels. In fact, I didn't even know they had gels until Eric Floberg told me about it. Because I saw that he was an athlete sponsored by BPN now, or an ambassador, or whatever you call it. He doesn't even know what he calls it. But he's a BPN athlete. And I was like, wait, what do you do for gels, though? He's like, oh, they have gels. I was like, oh, is that new? He's like, not that new. I guess just the Instagram art. I'm guessing now that we're talking about it and my phone is nearby, I'm guessing now I'll probably start seeing some ads for it. But I didn't even know. And then I saw Eric Floberg's flat lay for CIM. And he went with 4 of the Nick Bare gels. Or no, they're not Nick Bare gels. They're BPN gels. And then 2 Martin Calf. So, yeah. Creative Community says, I don't think Bandit posts to Europe, do they? I don't know the answer to that one. All right. And Eric says, I'll report back. All right. Taste the flavors and let us know which ones are stinkers. And Calvin says, Nick was locked in. He crushed it for sure and got to respect to do his size and shape running under 240. I think you got to respect anybody running under 240, regardless of shape, but especially because of shape, I guess. Sergeant Sullivan, I think that's what the SGT is. Sergeant Sullivan says, what's your opinion on plates for trail racing shoes? A lot of controversy I see out there saying it causes them to be unstable. Curious what your opinion is. Yeah, I think that like what people are calling plates in trail racing shoes is sometimes barely any different than what people have always called rock plates in shoes. So that's one thing. Like the plate that's in the Puma Fast R2 is not what's in the Tecton X3 or Tecton X2. You know what I mean? So there's a big difference there. So that's one element of it. And the other element of it is like a lot of the trail shoes that have plates do not have spongy Piba foams. Even if they have Piba foams, like the Speedland, they're not super spongy. And so like the plate is doing less than it does in say like a racing super shoe for the roads. So like I think that like you can't take like, oh, this is what I feel when I run in an Endorphin Elite and say like, do I want to run an Endorphin Elite on trails? Like, do I want lugs on my Endorphin Elite? It's a little bit different. I think it's an interesting concept. I like it quite a bit. I think it depends on the kind of trail that you want to race on. Like people say for racing Western states, having a plated trail racer like the new Adidas Terex ultra distance racer makes a lot of sense. Like the Ultrafly makes a lot of sense for those kinds of races. I saw people running in the Adidas Terex shoe, the plated shoe in Chamonix. I don't know that I would want that for Chamonix because I don't need to be that aggressive when I'm running trails like that. I'm barely moving faster than a power hike pace most of the time. So I don't need a plate. So I think it depends on the trail. I don't think that they're necessarily wrong or necessarily needed. I think it always depends on the trail that you're going to race on. Frank's pointing out that Co wore the Boston shirt to go clubbing at TRE. So there's a story behind that, and we'll end with this today. So I was with Ashley, and I and Hobbs Kessler were on the panel at the event at the Loop for the Supernova Rise. And so I wore the only Adidas long sleeve that I have is the Boston Marathon shirt. So I wore that one, and it's Texas and at nighttime in December, so it's not cold, but it's not hot either. So I needed a long sleeve, and we're sitting there and having like burgers and there's beers and stuff, and they're like, "All right, well, we all wanted to go to the same parties." That night after the event at the Loop, there was a party with Gooder and a party with On. I wanted to go to the On party first because that was far from my hotel. And then I wanted to go to the Gooder party second because that was a block from my hotel and then just walk home. We ended up staying at the Loop thing a little bit longer than we had planned. And so then like the other parties had already started. And we were like, well, if we go back to the hotels and we change, it's going to take a long time and all that stuff. And it wouldn't have taken me a long time, but anyway. So we're like, Ashley's like, we're just going to go straight. And I'm like, that's fine for you because she was dressed like a normal person. But like, I cannot wear a Boston Marathon shirt to a running party like at TRE. That's mega lame. She's like, no one's going to notice. Just it'll save time. You're tired. If you go home, you're not going to come back out. I'm like 50-50 chance you're correct. So I'm like, she's like, you're coming out. She's the only reason I went to two parties anyway. Left alone, I would have wandered home. But she's like, no, we're going to both parties. You're going now. We're not going to stop by. No one's going back to their hotels to change. We're just going to go like this. No one's going to notice. And I'm like, everyone's going to notice. I'm going to be that guy that wears Boston Marathon shirt. But Frank, you're the first person to mention it. No one mentioned it in any of the comments of the TRE video. So there you go. So that's it. All right. So that's that. That's going to be it for today, guys. Let's see. Hopefully, I'm still working on the CIM video. I'm hoping to have it out by tomorrow. But we've got another weekend trip with the family. Daughter's got another climbing competition. So maybe my wife will let me work in the car. Hopefully, I won't get car sick in the car as we're driving. But I'm going to try to get that video out. We'll see. But it should be out by the next time I see you guys, which will be Monday, same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you then. And in the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Enjoy your long runs. And for everyone racing, good luck out there.